You better explain why you let Bryce go. When Bryce was about to attack Marius, you fired the air gun you took from the ship's armory. Oh, that was the... Oh, I see. I see now. While Bryce was startled, Marius seized his blade. He thought he would subdue Bryce and then inform the camp, but he unexpectedly let Bryce go.
おじさんは防犯カメラの映像をすり替えてる。つまり彼は山崎さんか遠野と協力しているってことだ。端末の件がバレたと知った今、彼はおそらく仲間に連絡を取るはずだ。それに、今おじさんを捕らえたところで、素直に黄金の隠し場所を教えてくれると思うか？
You have a point.
それよりも、俺がナイフを奪えたのはあんたのおかげだ。つまりお姉さんは俺の命の恩人で、俺はお姉さんの。
Stop. I don't need your devotion. If you want to pay me back, buy me ice cream or some other thing. Wait, that's it? Just ice cream? That's all? That's all you want? I won't want more than that. I mean, food is good and all, but I want to keep something like physical. Like a game or something.
そんな冷たいこと言わないでよ。お姉さんの中で俺の命ってアイス1本程度のものなの？まあ、それは置いとくとして。どうして銃なんか持ち歩いてたんだ？ろくに訓練も受けてないのに勝手に発砲するなんて危ないのは分かってるよな。
What mood whiplash? How can he be so serious all of a sudden? It's not a real gun. It's a replica air gun, like the ones you use in the shooting games in the carnivals. I asked the staff. This gun makes a loud noise, but it lacks any destructive power. It's for scaring people. You were unarmed, and Bryce had a blade. I didn't want you to get hurt.
そっか。俺があんたを守るべきなのに、なんだか立場が逆になっちゃったな。
Marius' gentle voice makes you blush. You helplessly avert your gaze elsewhere and notice some items on the ground. Pause. Marius, look. Did Bryce leave those behind? A pillbox and a scroll of paper are on the ground nearby. Judging by their location, they likely dropped out of Bryce's backpack during the altercation.
多分、俺がナイフを奪った時に彼のリュックを破ったんだろうな。
I wonder if he needs those papers. Marius crouches down and examines the things that Bryce had dropped.
これは
The scroll of paper catches your attention. It's a sheet of parchment with writing on it.
亡霊が起き上がり、太陽を謳歌する。あなたは空へ昇り、輝き、神々から祝福を与えられる。あなたは神々の王、万物の主。あなたの前に、マートは運命を定める羽を天に掲げる。マート。確か古代エジプトの神だよな。
An ancient Egyptian god? Now that Marius mentions it, you remember Artem and Vin both sent encrypted messages. I don't know much about Egyptian mythology, to be honest. You were in such a rush that you didn't carefully read their messages, but they both mentioned ancient Egypt. Both Mr. Wing and Dr. Richter found similar parchments. You wave your phone at Marius, reminding him to check the messages himself. Artem has Jack under control, and Dr. Richter has Zachary as well. They're both suggesting that the gold's whereabouts are related to ancient Egyptian mythology.
なるほどな。死者の書。名前を聞いただけでも生死について書かれている本って感じだな。おじさんは不死を求めてる。黄金強奪事件は死者の書と関わっている。ここまで来ると、もはや黄金以外にも生死に関わるもっと大きな何かが隠されてるのか。
If it's about important historical relics or valuable works of art, then I understand Luke's secret's mission. Hold on. If it's related to ancient Egypt, then it's not a relic or a work from our country. Then it shouldn't involve Luke as an investigator.
ま、水瀬のことはさておき、今はとりあえずおじさんの後を追おう。 この先でもし古代エジプトと関係がありそうなものがあったら集めておいた方がいいかもな。
Marius takes out the parchment and looks at it.
マートの心臓とか、あるいは羽とか。
Bryce's target is the god of death's treasure, so his next destination is the temple at the mountain's peak. You find a shortcut to the peak by studying the notebook's map and Pax's information about Nosta. Finally, before dawn breaks, you and Marius arrive at the sacred temple before Bryce does. Oh, I thought I was going to end there. This temple is massive. I wonder where the treasure that Bryce is looking for is hidden. If we can find the treasure first, we can use it to barter for information about the Great Gold Heist. Marius stands in the middle of the temple. Looking around, he doesn't respond to you. What are you looking at?
なんかここってどっかの遺跡と似ているような気がするんだよね。でもそれがどこだったかさっきから思い出せないんだ。
Now that Marius mentions it, you also find the sacred temple very peculiar. It's relatively sealed. The only connection to the outside is a narrow door that is wide enough for only one person. Although the door extends from the floor to the ceiling, it doesn't let in much light. It is aptly named the Temple of Death. It's dark like the depths of hell. From the notebook, we deciphered words like immortality, full moon, and sunshine. Do these words give you any hint? If we're talking similar structures, then there will always be some similarities in key features or cultural significance.
そういえば
この役立たずが邪魔者も排除できないのか。お前にもう用はない。何のためにお前に銃を渡したと思っている。私が秘宝を見つけられなければお前がそれを見つけても無意味なんだ。
The loud yells outside the temple suddenly interrupts Marius. It is Bryce Thatcher's voice. Who's he yelling at?
私が秘宝を見つけられなければお前がそれを見つけても無意味なんだ。
どうやら来たみたいだな。
Is he having delusions or something? The temple is completely empty. There's nowhere to hide. The only possibility is a life-size statue of the god of death in the middle of the north side. With his long legs, Marius easily scales the base of the statue. He spins around and extends a hand.
ほら、早く手を貸して。隣の祭壇に足をかけるんだ。そしたら俺が引っ張ってやるから。
Following Marius' instructions, you quickly climb up to the base while holding his hand. Looking at Marius crouching behind the statue, you cover your mouth, trying very hard not to laugh.
そんなに笑わなくてもよくない？この神様がもう少し背が高ければよかったんだけど。今俺が立ち上がったら心臓様に髪が生えてるっておじさんがびっくりするだろ？
I'm not laughing at you. I'm just relieved that the god of death has a pair of wings. Otherwise, we'd definitely be spotted if we both hid here.
それはそうかもね。静かに。来るぞ。
What is he yelling about? Through the gaps in the wing, you can see Bryce walking into the temple whilst talking on the phone.
いいか遠野、不死の儀式を行うためには呪文と神器、その両方が必要なんだ。ノスタの迷信の杖はすでに行方不明になった。だがお前が仮面を持ってくればまだどうにかなる。
God damn, he's so desperate. Jeez.
それさえ手に入るのなら私はいくらでも払う。しかしそれが他人の手に渡ろうものならお前の悪趣味な思考が書かれた例の日記を警察へと届けてやるからな。
Wait, who's he talking about again? Who's he talking to, I mean? Joshua. Okay. Having finished speaking, Bryce hangs up. Diary? Did Bryce have something on Joshua? Having heard Bryce's call, Bryce called Joshua, you open the tracking app to check Joshua's location. He's quite far away. Exhausted from the hike, Bryce takes off his backpack and takes a rest on the floor, his chest heaving for breath. He seems extremely impatient and restless and keeps looking between his watch and outside. Is he waiting for the sunrise? You tap on Marius' shoulder to ask him when sunrise is, but you find, is there something wrong with me? Why do you keep ducking and evading me? Tap Marius again. Your hand accidentally brushes against his ear, which is burning up. After a moment of confusion, you finally realize what's going on. When Marius crouches down, his head is right at your chest. To avoid exposing your presence, you two stay very close to one another. If he moves just a little bit, he'd be touching your... You suddenly feel very embarrassed after realizing this. You were just laughing at Marius for being too tall. Now you feel, I really shouldn't have these kinds of thoughts inside a temple. This is karma. While your head is full of nonsense, Marius suddenly grabs your hand. He writes on your palm with his long finger in slow but clear strokes. Sunrise, 10 minutes. Your palm itches, but you receive his message loud and clear. Even though you didn't ask, and you two never made eye contact, he knows what's on your mind. I don't know what will happen in 10 minutes. If a miracle really does happen, could it be caused by some sort of mechanism inside the temple? You suddenly feel nervous. If there really is a mechanism, it's very likely to be near the statue. Is it going to be dangerous for the two of you hiding here? You quickly scan your surroundings, trying to figure out the possible location of the mechanism. However, the temple is too dark. Without a flashlight, it's difficult to discern any interior structures. What to do? 10 minutes. There isn't enough time. Someone suddenly pinches your hand. It's Marius. His finger gently points to your palm, then he starts writing again. Abu Simbel. Huh? What's that? Oh, the Abu Simbel Temple. That one built by the Egyptian pharaoh I don't know how to say that. Ramses? II? The second? Why did Marius mention that? Did I guess wrong? Oh, I get it. Is he talking about how the miracle will appear? During the Abu Simbel Sun Festival, sunlight enters the temple via the door and illuminates the statue of the pharaoh. This only happens on February 22nd and October 22nd. It is a miracle constructed by ancient peoples with accurate calculations and knowledge of astronomy and physics. This Temple of Death is very similar to the Abu Simbel. It may have adopted similar designs, so there is no mechanism. But how does he know that you're worried? Grabs Marius' hand as a reply. He then covers your hand with his other hand, dispelling the cold on your fingertips with his warmth. 10 minutes pass in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, the rising sun condenses into a beam and shines into the dusty temple, awakening the sleeping deity. Inside the concealed temple, there is no light anywhere. Only the statue of the god of death is bathed in sunlight, its metallic body shining. Seeing the rays of sun, Bryce stands up excitedly. He seems determined to embrace the statue, but he suddenly grabs his chest and falls down in pain.
Oji-san!
Nothing else matters in this moment. Marius jumps off the statue and rushes over to Bryce. You follow him, rummaging in your backpack for the medicine that Bryce had dropped earlier. Which of these drugs are for an emergency? Are these important medicines?
おじさんには心疾患がある。もしかしたらその発作を起こしたのかもしれない。
This nitroglycerin. Together with Marius, you try to help Bryce lie down and place the nitroglycerin under his tongue, but he doesn't cooperate. He eagerly stretches out his hands towards the statue of the god of death, desperate and insistent. The statue, with its wings wide open, solemnly looks over all living beings. Between it and Bryce, there is a gap between the ancient and the modern, between death and life. Wait, that was the last one, wasn't it? Yeah, no, wait. I was still on chapter 2. Okay. Part 2, I mean. Alright, we're here. Temporary camp. Considering Bryce's critical condition, Marius directly contacts the ship for a helicopter. After his condition stabilizes, you two and the doctor move Bryce to the nearest campsite for further treatment. The doctor said that Bryce's condition is stable. He had a heart attack because of his exhaustion, but just as Bryce said, his body couldn't last very long. This trek likely accelerated the deterioration of his body.
昨日の夜、おじさんの息子さんには連絡を入れてたんだ。その時は繋がらなくて。今さっき息子さんの話によると、おじさんは去年入院した時からノスタ島の文化にハマっていたらしい。オークションに参加したり、骨董品とか古い原稿を集めたり、英国の考古学者とも連絡を取っていたそうだ。この件でおじさんが大金をつぎ込んだせいで、家族ともかなり険悪になっていたんだとか。ほら、以前おじさんは神に会ったことがあるって言ってたよね。
Yes, you mean there are no such thing as miracles in the world. Maybe it was he scammed? Saying a miracle would be an over-exaggeration, but it makes sense if Bryce fell for a miracle panacea that could cure any disease. The police receive reports of people being scammed every day. Bryce is likely among this count.
おそらくはね。けど、事の詳細はおじさん以外誰も知らない。そしておじさんはそのことを一切他言してないんだ。
Bryce is such a successful entrepreneur. He's seen so much in life, but someone like him can fall for that kind of scam.
そうだな。俺もそう思う。不可思議で、少しだけ滑稽だって。
Well, if you're desperate, yeah, you would fall for the scam because, you have incurable heart disease. It makes people not think straight, I suppose. That's the word I'm looking for, I guess.
けど、おじさんは死の淵に立たされていて、しかも孤立無縁の状態だった。生きたいと必死になっている時に、事の真偽を見分けるのは難しいのかもしれないな。
This weakness of terminal ill patients is what swindlers abuse. Oh, by the way, you suddenly remember that when you left the temple, you found something by accident. Marius, is the feather of Mott mentioned in the parchment something like this? You found a feather stone carving among the stones in the corner of the temple. It looks like it's only half of a feather, though it can be combined with its other half on its serrated edge.
これはどうなんだろう。よくわからないけど、とりあえず取っておこうか。
Marius takes the feather stone carving from you and puts it in his backpack. Just now, Dr. Richter sent a message saying that he also found a stone carving of a feather. I looked at the picture. Maybe it can be combined with this one we have.
了解。今のところこの羽をどう使うかも分かってないし、先に合流してから相談してみようか。
While you're chatting, the doctor informs you that Bryce is awake now and urgently wishes to see you two. Impatient to wait for you to walk over, he asks someone to push him there in a wheelchair.
ケイ君、
Holy crap, his
秘宝はあっ
face.
たのか？秘宝を見たんだろう？私は発作を起こしてしまって何も見えなかった。だが、君たちには見えたのだろう？
おじさん、落ち着いてください。その秘宝が何だったのかは、俺には分かりませんでした。
迷信に刻まれた呪文のことだ。
I don't know if you really want that, to save you.
ノスタの伝説によると、迷信は10年に一度、真夏の満月の夜明けの時に人間界へと戻ってくる。朝日が神殿に差し込んだ時、迷信は心臓に降臨し、彼の信者に不死の奥義を見せてくれるんだ。心臓にある呪文は霊媒だ。生死の境を突破できる鍵なんだ。その呪文と アヌビスの仮面さえ手に入れれば、私は病を克服し、不死となれる。
おじさん、落ち着いて聞いてください。心臓には呪文なんて書かれていませんでした。
そんなわけはない。そうか、君たちはノスタ文字がわからないんだったね。大丈夫、私が教えてやるから。どんな模様を見たか思い出してみるんだ。
本当です。象形文字も記号も何もありませんでしたよ。おじさん、あの神殿の原理は簡単です。天文学の知識を利用して構造と場所を選んで建てただけなんです。迷信が降臨するという現象も、ただ太陽の光が心臓に当たっただけでノスタ島特有の現象じゃない。実際にエジプトのアブ・シンベル神殿も同じ原理を利用しています。
そういうことは聞いていない。K 君、いや泉 K、 一体どうすれば呪文を教えてくれるんだ。
This guy is so hard-headed, he just doesn't want to listen at all. God dang.
や
I
は
know
り
he's like,
ただで譲る気はないみたいだな。いくらだ。
I don't think he,
一体いくら欲しいんだ。
I mean, I know he's dying, but my goodness. Please calm down, Mr. Thatcher. The doctor said you shouldn't get too excited. Marius would love to help you if he could. Do you think he ignore you for the sake of money? There were no words on the statue. Maybe there was text on it thousands of years ago, but it's been so long that any word have long faded. We didn't see anything.
そんな。じゃあ彼が
Yeah, he lied to
彼
you.
が言っていたことは。
おじさんはどうしてここまで不死の呪文を信じているんですか？
それはノスタ島の考古学者が彼が言っていたからだ。
Probably was posed as an archaeologist.
あの人は100年前に生まれた人なのに30代のような若い姿をしていた。当時考古学チームが急いでノスタ島を離れたのは不死の秘密を見つけたからだと彼が教えてくれたんだ。
Without Bryce telling you, you can already imagine the supernatural events the archaeology team encountered. If Bryce didn't have a terminal illness, or disease rather, he wouldn't have fallen for such a scam, but...
とりあえずおじさんはゆっくり休んでください。体調が回復した後で一緒にベースキャンプに戻りましょう。おじさんにはまだいろいろと聞かなきゃいけないことがあるので。